Hello and welcome to the Asian Monet, where we talk about food, fashion, fitness, and photography. Now before we get into today's video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. And if you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. She's a Mona Lisa.
So what are presets? They're basically settings that are applied to a photo to help you achieve a certain look that you're going for, and it's as simple as the click of a button. So you create your photo, you use the tools available in Lightroom, and you save that preset, and then you can apply that preset to similar photos. So what is Lightroom? Lightroom is an editing software through Adobe. Simple as that. Similar to Photoshop, except it has different tools to help you edit a photo, and then within that you can create presets. So you can get Lightroom through your app store. It's free to use, especially if you're using mobile. It's free. If you're doing it through the computer, then that'll cost you, but we're all editing on the go anyway, so you might as well download the free app and you're able to use it on the go. So once you have the app downloaded, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to open up Lightroom. I believe it's going to show you like a black screen, and it's going to show you your library. So what I'm going to do is click on the bottom right corner where it has the camera and then a picture with a plus sign. We're going to click the picture with the plus sign, and then at this moment we're going to go ahead and add the photo that we want to edit. So I'm going to go from camera roll, and then at the top I'm going to click the camera roll where it says camera roll. I'm going to click that drop down menu and I'm going to click favorites. Now here's in this drop down menu, it's going to pull everything that you have on your camera roll and in the categories that you have it. Mine is saved in my favorites, so I'm going to go ahead and click favorites, and then I already know which one I'm going to edit for purposes of this video. So we're going to start with this photo. So now that I've selected the photo that I'm going to use to edit, I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark at the top right hand corner. And now it's successfully inserted into Lightroom. Now you can edit from that phase, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it into my library, and then I'm going to open that up. And now I'm going to edit from this stage. So we're going to scroll over, and we're only going to use light and color. Those are the two things we're going to use for the purposes of today's video. Again, this is very basic. If you've never created a preset, if you've never used any editing software, then this is for you. So we're going to start by opening light. So light, as you can see, we have a few options. You have exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks. Those are all of the options that you have under the light category. And then you see on the top right side, you'll see curve. Now curve, I'll go ahead and click on it. If you see the colors at the bottom, red, green, and blue, it really just is going to set that tone for your picture. So we'll come back to that one. So we're going to start with exposure. If you're not familiar, exposure just makes your photo go from light all the way to dark. So I'll show you the most extreme all the way over to the most extreme. So it puts it right in the middle for you. Now obviously you don't have to use all of the tools that come into the light package. You can just use a few. You can use a smidge. You can use whatever, you know, works for you in your photo. So for exposure, let's play around with it a little bit. I don't want to go too dark because I was already over an awning, so it's already a little bit dark as it is. So I'll bump the exposure up a smidge. I might adjust it later, or after the photo is almost complete, I might come back and adjust that. So then we're going to go ahead and do contrast. Now contrast, as you can see, the first thing you want to do when you're playing around with these is go ahead and use that slider and go all the way back so you can see the most extreme on each end, and that'll help you kind of see where exactly you want your whatever it is, exposure, contrast, saturation, whatever you want that to land. So here it is, it's all the way extreme to extreme on the lightness side. So I think I'm gonna go, actually I think I'm gonna leave contrast the way it is for now, and I'll come back to that one. Highlights, Again, all the way extreme over here, and this makes it a little bit more dark. I can bump it up just a smidge. Shadows, obviously is what it says it's gonna do, all extreme. You see how it took completely all of the shadows out, and here it just makes them a little bit more deeper, a little bit more darker for you to see. So for my shadows, because I'm gonna up it just a little bit, because like I said, I was standing under something, so that really kind of created a shadow around my body. So I'm gonna make sure that I remove a little bit of that shadow. So that looks good. And now the next thing is whites and blacks. So this is just gonna enhance those areas a little bit more. Let's see. I don't have too much white in the photo. Even though it's white in the background, it's just not picking it up as much. So that's the great thing about the slider too. It's gonna pick up whatever's in your photo. Even though you see white, it might not pick that up. It might not read it as, oh, there's a lot of white in this photo. Let's take it to the extreme. So again, play around with the slider, see what works, see what doesn't work. So, let's see. I like it just a little bit of white. And then, oops. So the next thing we're gonna do is blacks. So let's slide that all the way over, all the way down. Again, it gives me a lot of shadow, so that's not what I want in my photo. So I'm just gonna enhance it just a smidge. Now, one trick you can do if you're thinking to yourself, I might wanna take out a little bit of this or a little bit of that. So you hold down the photo. That's gonna give you the before look. That's gonna give you what you inserted your photo to be. So this is the before and this is the after. This is so far what we're working with, okay? So now we're gonna go to this curve. So curve again is just gonna set the tone for the background, for the overall color focus of the photo. So here I'm gonna tap in the middle, and you see this is the blue extreme, and here it is extreme to yellow. So those are the contrasting colors. And I'm gonna bring this back down, this back to the middle as I can. So let's see the green. Again, the extreme to the extreme, green and purple, pink. And then for the red, it's gonna give you a super red tone and a super blue green tone. So you can kind of play around with it. Again, play around with the slider, see what things do, and that'll help you kind of determine which way you want your picture to go. Which direction. Do you want a little bit more warmth? Do you want it a little bit more cool? So it's really just up to you on how you want your photo to look. Again, this is custom, so you're customizing your preferences to your photo. So for me, I think I'm gonna go something like this. A little bit more red tone. I see I have a little, it's a very warm photo considering the colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep the warmness of the photo, not make it too cool. So I'm just gonna slide it up just a smidge. See, I'm turning a little orange. So I'm gonna bring that bulb, that white bulb, down a smidge. And yeah, so I'm thinking I'm liking this one just a little bit. I can make adjustments as I go along. Again, you can hold down the photo so you can see what it previously looked like when you inserted the photo, just so you can kind of get a gauge on where your photo is going, where the editing is going. So here we're gonna pop it up. So from here, now I can use my exposure and say, okay, do I want to expose it? A smidge. Contrast, the same thing. I kind of like, I don't want to look too washed. I don't want to look too pale. So let's do a little bit of contrast right there. So now we're done. Let's hold it down one more time. Cool. So now the next thing we're going to do is use the color section. Again, we're only going to use 2 for this. We're going to use light and we're going to use color. So now we're pretty much halfway through editing our photo. So once you practice, you'll go a lot faster and you'll know what you're looking for. So under color, there's a few options: temperature, tint, vibrance, and saturation. And then on the top right, you see mix. So those are the items that we're going to be using for today. So temperature, as you can see, it tells you where's what. So it's going to bring it very blue or it's going to bring it very yellow. So let's see. Woo. You see that? Brought the temp way up and it brought the temp way warm. So this is the cool and warm tag. As you can see, temp, cool, warm. Just depends on the preference of where you want your photo to go. So then the next area is tint. So this is gonna bring it very green, very pink, purple, and again, it tells you exactly where it's going to go. Vibrance, as you can see, if you bring it way over, it's gonna turn that vibrancy down, all the way down. And it's gonna bring it all the way up 10 notches if you bring it the other way. So here you can play around with that. And then saturation, again, after you saturate it, it just takes the color away. So it's gonna bring it all the way gray, and it's gonna bring it all the way bright. Just depends again on how deep you want that saturation to go, or how bright you want that picture to be. So for this one, I know for sure I want to warm it up a little bit, because again, I have on those colors, those warm colors, and I don't want to bring the tone down too cool, because it's going to take away from that warmth of the photo. So we're going to keep that. So we're going to turn it up a little bit. And then for the tint, I think I'm just going to leave, I was going to leave it alone, but let's see. I'll bring it up just a smidge. And then for vibrance, because I'm wearing a lot of like bright colors and just like bold colors, I kind of want to make sure, I think I'm just gonna leave my vibrance alone on this particular phase, because when we go to mix, I think that'll help give me the look that I'm looking for. And then saturation, I'm gonna leave saturation alone too. So let's hit mix, and then here is where you see all the colors lined up in a row. Now here is where it's going to pull colors from your picture. So for example, I have on these bronzy kind of pants. You see I have on a bold lip. It's gonna pull those colors, and I have the option of how bright, how saturated, how vibrant do I want those specific colors to be, which is why in the other section I kind of just left them alone, because I wanted to use the mixing tool to help me bring out just specifically those colors and not necessarily the colors in that whole photo. I didn't want it to apply to the colors in that whole photo. So here we go. As you can see, you have all of your colors lined up in a row, and then I'm going to start with this red one because I have on a lot of those undertones in that color. Now one thing, if that color is not in the photo, it's not going to change the photo. So let's say, for example, let's type in the blue one. There's not really blue in the picture, so if I move the hue over, it's not changing anything. Okay, so it's going to pick up what's in the picture. So I'm just going to move that back. So that's why we're going to start with this red one, and I'm going to go ahead just so you can see how it completely changed what that color is in the photo, which is again why I did not want to bother with saturation and vibrancy in the previous editing tool. I wanted to wait and use it in mix because I knew it was going to pull out exactly the brightness or the dullness of the item in the photo. Hopefully that makes sense. So again, I'm going to move this way over so you can see it completely changed the colors of that photo. This is why I love this app, because maybe I wanted my bag to be pink. And here you have a tool where it can completely transform your photo. Okay, so before the purposes of the photo, I want to maintain what's in the photo, and I want to show you how you can just amp it up just a smidge, not completely change it around. But I really love, now I want these purple pants or these pinkish pants, and now I want a bag that's pink, and now I want my lips to be that color. Okay, so I'm gonna bring the hue back. Just again, I just want you to see what this section is going to do to help you transform your photo. So saturation, I'm bringing it all the way down. It gave me like a bluish lip, and my bag went all the way down in the color, and then again it's going to brighten it all the way up. And then the next one, luminance, again it's more of like the vibrancy. So this one I'm rolling it all the way down, and it completely changed the color of my lipstick, which I actually really like that color, okay? And now I'm gonna bring it all the way over, and it's gonna brighten up that lipstick. So I have on a shade of pink lipstick, but it's gonna make it super pink or super dark. So I'm gonna bring it back to the middle. So now I'm gonna work on how I want this photo to look based off of hue, saturation, and luminance. I still wanna maintain the integrity of the photo and what's actually in the photo. I wanna keep that, you know, it's kind of similar and on point and accurate as I can. So let's bring the hue, excuse me, we're gonna bring the hue up just a smidge. And again, you can hold down the photo and it's gonna show you that original photo so you can get it as close to original as possible. So I'm gonna hold down that photo and I'm gonna release it, and I think I like how that one looks. So saturation, let's see. Play around with it a little bit because I don't want to lose my lipstick color, but again I want to maintain as close as I can. Okay, so +6, so that's good. And then luminous, ooh, I love that burgundy type of lipstick. Oh, so pretty. Because my lipstick actually was a pretty bright pink color, so we're gonna try to, I'm gonna turn my hue down just a smidge. So one thing I also want to do is I want to go over to the next one, which is the orange one. So let's see what that's going to give me. So this one is going to work more so with my skin tone. So it's going to make me very Oompa Loompa orange over here. And it's going to make me Shrek green. I look like Fiona. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so it's going to make me bright green over here as well. So I want to be a little bit more tan because A, I need a tan, but also it's just a little bit more accurate than me being green. Okay, so, and again, I don't have to use any of these tools for this, but I want to go ahead and just add a little bit, and then I'm going to actually take a smidge of it away in saturation because hue made it a little too orange, and saturation just brought that orange down some. Okay, so luminous, I think I'm just gonna leave luminance alone. So again, hold it down, let's see what we were working with, and I think this is actually looking really good, really pretty, really soft, not too orangey. Let's see, let me take it down just a smidge more. Okay, so now I'm going to go to, let's go to this pink. Let's see if it pulls anything. No, see, it's not pulling anything. Nope, not pulling anything for that. So again, it's only going to pull what you have in that photo already. It's not going to add any pinks. It's not going to add purples if you don't have any of that in the photo. And so that's what I enjoy about this specific tool, the color mix. So I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the done button. So here's where we can go back to light if you want to, the light section, and you can work with your exposure, contrast, highlights, black swipes. You can go ahead and work with those again now that our photo is almost completed. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if there's anything that I want to change. But I'm liking the way it looks already. So I think I'm gonna go with that. It's a very warm tone. Again, this is the theme that I'm going for this photo. Now that we have our light area together, now that we've worked on the color area together, your photo is pretty much complete. So this is the basics of how to create your presets. So we have everything set and ready to go. So now we're gonna go over to this presets button. And you're going to click the 3 dots in the circle at the top right. And here you're going to create presets. So here's where we are creating our custom preset. So I'm going to title this Test for YouTube. You can name it whatever you want. Now, as far as naming, I do suggest naming it something that makes sense to the photo, so that way when you go to edit similar photos, you know exactly which preset you want to use. Okay, so that just makes it 10 times easy. For example, when I went to Fiji, I had a specific group of photos that I wanted to apply this preset to. Now I was editing on different days. I might have edited 2 days in a row, and then I might not have come back to those photos for another month. So I'm not going to remember which photo I used if I label it preset 1, preset 2. So I specifically named it Fiji Pink because it had more of a pink undertone, and that was just a specific preset that I wanted to use for that group of photos. I want to go ahead and name it to where it makes sense for when you come back to those photos, and you can easily find it and easily just click the button and apply that preset to those photos. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to name it Test for YouTube because that's simple enough. If you look under light and color, it's going to show you that you applied those settings. Effects and details, it's just standard, so that's just going to be there. And then you want to click the check mark, and now that is now saved into your preset area. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the check mark at the bottom. Wait. So I have my preset and I have my photo ready to go. Now you can go ahead, the next step you can do is hit the share button at the top, and you can either share it to somebody, you can send it to somebody, you can share it straight to Instagram, or you can copy it. You can do several things. So the other option that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and export it to camera roll, and then you have your photo successfully saved. The next one we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and we're going to open up another photo similar to the one that we just edited, so that we can go ahead and apply those same settings to the next photo, and you can see how it can create continuity between your photos. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to scroll over to presets, and then I'm going to find the one that I just created and named Test for YouTube, and I'm going to click that. It went ahead and applied that preset straight to that photo. So I'm going to hit the check button, and you see how it seamlessly applies that first preset that we made onto the second photo. So now it can create more continuity between your photos. Now you can tell a more complete story of whatever you're trying to tell. So beautiful. So again, I can go ahead and I can share it, or I can export to camera roll, and it'll save right to my phone. So that's it. It was very simple, very easy. Remember, there's 2 categories that you want to use if you're just on the basic of creating your presets. You want to use the light, that'll help with the exposure, contrast, whites, black, shadows, all those things. And then you can also set the tone for the overall photo using green, blue, or red, or not using any at all if you don't want to. And then the other categories, you want to use the color category to help bring out the color of your photos, whether it's something that you're wearing or if it's a background or something like that. So, and then you're going to go ahead, create your preset, name it, save it, and apply it to similar photos. So you can go ahead and upload them to Instagram. You can have them for your blog or whatever you want to use them for. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully it was informative. Hopefully it made sense. Now you know how to make your own presets, and you can apply them to all your bomb photos, post them on the gram. So if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and drop them in the comment bar. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video, if it was informative, if it helped you out a little bit. Let me know, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.